The bridge.
Thank you, Trace, for that super energetic.
You have such a cute voice.
Such a cute voice. Really funny guy. Talk to him after the show. Anyway, so welcome to the bridge, guys. Thank you so much for coming. All right, so what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna do some poetry and we're gonna do some comedy. We're gonna see if it works.
Yeah, you be the judge. So the setup here is we're going to have two poets come up and perform a little bit of spoken word, slam poetry. Show of hands, anyone seen slam poetry performed live into poetry? How many of you have been to a poetry slam? Put your hands up. Okay. So when you go to something like this, when a poet is just going off, what do you do? You can stop your feet. You can snap. I'm a little very pretentious. I like to snap sometimes. You can yell, "Go in, poet." Can I get one of those? Go in, poet. There we go. We can get a really kind of guttural yelling stuff.
Has anyone ever poked you in the stomach when you didn't know they were gonna?
Yeah. I expect that. Sometimes it hits you like that. Poet system is just ooh, words. Nice. We feed off of your energy. So the more you give to the poet, the better the performance is going to be. So please don't hesitate to give us that energy. Okay? And they sign on to this. They know what they're getting into. So they're prepared for it. So don't feel like it's oh god, they're gonna make fun. Everything is kosher.
And after they do their poem, we're going to interview them a little bit because we don't want to do jokes right off of Black Lives Matter and other sensitive subjects. So we'll talk to them about their poems and try to dig into them a little bit and try to get some source material and do some fun stuff after that. This is the improv team Gary. Is he This is Michael Ting.
I'm Michael Ting.
My name's Caleb Lush. And we're really excited to start the show for you guys. So, you want to bring up the first poet?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and introduce our first poet tonight. She is a very dear person to my heart because we're related. We're literally very close, but related. She is a queer Asian poet currently living in Los Angeles. We had a joke about her actually being, what's her name? Who's being in the Olympics right now? Chloe Kim, and she's back in the Olympics, but that's not the case. We didn't run with that. But she, a little bit about her. She's, very prolific writer. She kind of publishes little zines. She actually reads facts about Genevieve. I was visiting her back in December, and she was like, "I'm working on this project right now. I can't tell you about it." I was like, "Okay, being very secretive, Jenny." And I was like, so much I can't under contract tell you. And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "You'll know when it comes out." And I said, "Okay, sure." And then a month later, the Time's Up campaign came out. So I don't know if you guys know that. There, so obviously they trust her, that kind of thing. Without further ado, please give all your warm welcome to Genevieve King.
White feminist shows up to the protest, says, "I feel so safe here," because white feminist was never made to feel unsafe in her body. White feminist says, "Thank you, law enforcement," and doesn't see the brown bodies in detention centers around the corner, or the absence of police surveillance because of white presence. White feminist comes for the photo op, says, "I will not be silenced," doesn't think about how Asian women are always read as silent before seen as women. White feminist gets impatient with the speakers, yells, "I didn't come here to listen, I came here to be heard." White feminist always just wants to be heard. White feminist doesn't like having to wait to start marching. White feminist doesn't like having to ask for permission. White feminist interrupts every woman of color speaking, yells, "I came here to march." White feminist looks around and starts chanting, "Less talking, more walking," over the indigenous woman's 5 minutes of forgiveness. White feminist blames women of color for a fractured movement, doesn't think about who lives in the fractures. White feminist blames women of momentum, likens intersectionality to being controversial. White feminists just came here to say she wins. White feminist felt good about herself today. White feminist doesn't think about who's always marching, who is allowed to march, who has been marching, who has walked closely while marching, who is still marching even when standing still. White feminist doesn't want to talk about race. White feminist doesn't want to talk about race. White feminist doesn't want to talk about race. White feminist voice is so loud when love trumps hate, but suddenly doesn't have a voice when Black Lives Matter. White feminist quotes Asada Shakur, says, "We have nothing to lose but our chains," but doesn't think about who manufactured the chains. White feminist sings the national anthem and feels proud. White feminist looks out at a crowd full of pink faces and pink hats and says, "This is what democracy looks like." White feminist says, "Now is the time to fight." White feminist says, White feminist always gets to decide who and what to care about. White feminist says support all women and then asks me where I am really from, and equates womanhood with genitalia. White feminist is obsessed with biological essentialism. White feminist centers womanhood on having a vagina, leaves no space or thought for trans women or anything outside of the binary, or people whose bodies don't align with their normalization of women. White feminist holds up a sign that says, "I'm with her," with arrows pointing every which way, and yet no woman of color is anywhere around her. White feminist pushes her way through a crowd like a protest is only designed for her to take up space, doesn't apologize when she pushes past brown and black women, and yet has a sign that says, "We are all sisters." White feminist just wants equal rights for all, but doesn't realize that all looks a lot different for some. White feminist doesn't challenge the racist uncle at dinner, cherry picks when to be angry, praises the lack of violence at this peaceful protest, wonders, why can't all protests be this peaceful? Doesn't think about what kind of bodies are seen as peaceful, what kind of bodies just want peace but never seem to get it. White feminist sees a future full of possibilities, sees more opportunities to be heard, sees herself. White feminist says, "This is what a feminist looks like." Thank you.
After you do a poem like that, do you feel fired up? You want to like punch stuff?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel amazing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was great. I loved it.
I feel like supercharged.
Yeah. Do you want to check? Where are my white feminists at in the crowd?
I feel like I always have to preface this that white feminism is not the same as just if you're a white person and you believe in feminism. Like white feminism is a kind of feminism that prioritizes white, cisgender, straight, middle class, like heterosexual women.
Right.
So it's like, it's not just like, oh, I'm a white lady and I'm a feminist and I feel attacked. It's like, no. It's like, no, like if you ascribe to this kind of feminism, like check yourself.
It is like a label.
Yes. It's
okay,
like
that people of color will use, especially people of color will use this label. Like I actually never heard of the term white feminism used that way.
Yeah, it's just like after the Women's March that I went to last year, and then the one that I skipped this year because I knew what I was going to experience, I looked around and it was like every woman of color or queer person or like person who occupies a marginalized identity was like, I did not enjoy that experience, you know? It was like, there's something really empowering about us all coming together, but there was also something really like disappointing and like tone deaf about everything.
Right, like kind of disenfranchised by the whole, like, it seems like everyone's on your side, but you really like, you look at everyone critically and you're like, you know.
Yeah, because you see people and it's like, you're performing this, like
right.
You're performing your allyship and like, who did you actually come to this protest for?
Yeah,
So,
and how long are you going to keep this up?
Yeah.
Were you in LA when you did that?
I was in LA,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So are there like specific people that you have in mind that you know in your everyday life that fit into this white feminist?
100%.
Who do you? who's somebody that comes to mind? You don't have to use names.
My coworker Allison?
Okay, Allison.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Allison.
Let's go in. Yeah, she's just like, Allison. I mean, there's a lot of Allisons, you know?
Oh.
There's a lot of...
Yeah. Where are my Allisons at in the crowd? Way to be white and a named Allison. What a perfect show. You came to the right show. So let's talk about Allison.
Yeah.
Not you, but let's talk about that.
She like wears a lot of like feminist brands that are
Ooh,
really
what are
like
those?
they're just like brands where all the profits don't go necessarily anywhere to support like organizations or like marginalized communities. Like they just go to support like the very like cliche sort of white feministy brand.
Like, what is that? What's a brand? I don't know. How do I stay away from these brands?
I feel like
I'm okay?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Because I'm not a lady.
Not just that. I mean, white men can definitely perpetuate white feminism.
Right. Yeah, I probably do it accidentally all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. But what else about Allison? So she wears those kinds of clothes. What kind of stuff did she say around the office?
She just like came back to work the day after the Women's March and she was like, just went to the Women's March yesterday. It was incredible. And I was like, dope, yeah, totally. Like, let's see you at the next BLM March though, you know? Like, let's see you at the next, opportunity to really like leverage your privilege and stand up for people because dope that you're there. I support you being there. Like, introduce yourself to feminism. Like, hey, racism still exists. But like, yeah, just stuff like that where I'm like, dope, do more. Like, yeah.
How much of outside of where is this office that you're working at?
It's in Venice.
It's in
on
Venice.
Abbot Kinney. Yeah.
What kind of company is it?
It's an ad agency.
It's an ad agency. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like a copywriter?
Yes, I'm.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Don't cheer for that. Don't cheer for that.
Where are my copywriters at? There's one copywriter. Holy shit. Okay. So what kind of ads do you work on normally? You worked on Time's Up.
I did work on Time's
Okay.
Up. Yeah, I worked on Time's Up.
You work on anything that
I used to work at a talent agency, and so that's how I got connected to Time's Up.
Okay.
It's like a very huge talent agency.
And what's an example of like an ad that you worked on that sucked your soul out of you?
Oh God, every single one of them. There's Minute Maid, there's Diet Coke, there's Cadillac.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You write for Cadillac?
I did projects back like when I used to work at my old place for Cadillac and for Coca-Cola, and like I realized me saying this is all like corporate entities that are like very much the antithesis of like who I am as a person, but like I gotta make that bread, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think we all sacrifice our ideals to make that bread.
Still gotta make that lettuce.
Yeah. Do people say lettuce? Is that a thing?
They do now.
Okay. I'm learning so much as a white. That's what I love about this show as a white man.
Because you learn so much.
Yeah, I
from
learned so
people
much
of color.
about how white I am and how much I don't get it. No, that's awesome. Do you, So, I wanted to pause real quick, and you know Ting, your brother, I call him Ting, but Michael.
Yeah, I'm also Ting.
Yeah, you're also Ting, so it doesn't really differentiate. But so Michael and I run the show together. Do you have any stories you'd like to tell about Michael?
Oh, about Michael.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta go.
Yeah,
Okay,
do it.
So my brother Michael, famously cannot be alone. And so
Wait, what?
yeah, famously. Whatever.
Alright,
So when he was younger, for some reason, like me and my other brother and my parents were all out for like a day. And Michael famously cannot be alone. And so we came back after a day of being at like, I want to say Costco or something. And we get back and Michael has made like 80 foil animals just to hang out with him. Like he literally just made all these little foil dinosaurs. And we come back and he's like by the table and he's just like, you guys were gone for so long. So just like all of these foil animals. Like, we're never leaving you again. Are you okay?
Who's older?
Who do you think?
I think you're older.
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest? Okay. Well, I felt like I had more to lose if I went with him. So. Was this like his first year back in college?
No, this was like when he was like 11. Yeah. He was like real young and real lonely.
What's something weird that you do? What's one of your vices?
One of my
Or one of the
vices?
things that's super weird about you. So he can't be alone and he makes little figures
what's
out of
weird
foil.
about me?
Doesn't have to be the weirdest thing.
I don't say hello to dog owners, but I say hello to dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like cannot make eye contact with the dog owners, like famously. I don't know why I keep saying famously, like it's but
People
every
talk about it in LA.
It's a big deal. I literally like have angered dog owners. Like at my old company, there were like hundreds of dogs, and I don't know anybody's name. I know every single dog's name. I was like, oh my God, you look amazing. You look so thin. Like I just would talk to the dogs.
So you look so thin.
Is that a new collar? Like that's great.
What's your diet?
Pedigree? Is it pedigree now? Yeah.
Wet food or dry food? So do you ever get into conflicts with the owners? Do they ever feel?
It's more like when I left that company, you get a walkout and like very minimal applause for me. The dogs were all like wagging their tails. And like, owners were like.
Wait, what was that? A company?
Yeah, you get a clap out when you leave the company.
Oh, you do? And so everyone brings their dogs to work?
Yeah, all the dogs are there, and so you get clapped out when you leave. And I did not get that big of an applause, but the dogs got a lot of dog eye contact.
The dogs did a lot of They marched out with you. They're like, you fucking white feminist.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for us to do jokes?
Yeah,
Are you listening okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you guys give it up for Genevieve one more time.
I'm not going to the wedding this year. I went to one last year. It's the same thing every time. It's a bullshit speech by the best man who thinks he's funnier than he actually is.
I'm the best man this time, so.
Well, I didn't know that.
Just come. It's my cousin, my favorite cousin. You're not at a wedding, they're gonna think that our marriage is falling apart, which they're already suspect, and I don't want to give them extra signals. They're very suspicious people in my family. They try to read into everything.
What have they read into so far?
Is that a whole wheat pita?
Yeah, I got a whole wheat pita.
What? Have you had a fever in the past week? Why are you?
No, I'm trying to get more fiber. I've had some bowel issues, and fiber is helping stuff move.
Is that why you're wearing one black and one white sock?
Yeah, what's wrong? That's not to do with my.
Is everything okay?
That's more of a fashion choice.
Is everything okay with your marriage?
My marriage is great. My wife loves me
I don't know about
more
that.
than anyone else in the world.
I don't know about that. There's something different about you.
This was my own choice. She hates them too. But still,
So I'm glad we agree. I'm glad me and your wife agree on that.
yeah, I think I don't know why you're so suspicious of her. She's just like you in a lot of ways.
Listen, I can smell something is up here. I don't know what it is. Between the pita.
It's
You buy different stuff at Trader Joe's now. It's gotten into
I saw someone at my workplace, and I got inspired by the groceries that they had.
They brought their grocery store. They brought all of their groceries store.
They were on the way.
And you just looked through the bag.
No, he was parading it around, just going out, what kind of deals he's gotten, and what kind of little oranges he can get, and
Is he gonna be at the
just
wedding?
one hand and huh?
Is he gonna be at the wedding?
Yeah.
Excuse me, you've been eyeballing my dog for the last 20 minutes. Maybe when you're done, you could say hi to me.
Could you shut the fuck up for just a second? I'm talking to your dog.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly have anything interesting to say.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm an attorney, I work on big cases. I work on big-time stuff.
Can you hear yourself talking right now? Do you hear the words you're saying?
I drive a Jeep. I go hiking on the weekends in different places. I hike to the top of Mount Diablo in 30 minutes.
Okay, you're lying, and he's telling me that. Okay? Now, I'm gonna just have to take him now. Oh, yeah. Listen. Okay, maybe a little meaty. I already committed this.
No, fine, take him. Fine, why don't you take him? My phone number is 510-910-2846. That's my real phone number. Call me when you want.
So you lost another one, huh?
I didn't lose another one.
Look straight ahead.
Somebody took him from me at the park.
James, why do you think you keep letting people take your dog?
I don't let people do anything. He wanted to take the dog. He thought the dog was more interesting than I was.
Oh, okay. Did you agree with him?
No, I didn't. I hike recreationally, and I'm an attorney. I'm a balanced person. I'm actively watching the Winter Olympics.
None of these things are these are things that everyone does.
Well, are you gonna find my dog or what?
It's starting to get a little burdensome, to be honest.
Do you have my correct number? I've changed it.
I don't know if you saw my shirt. Just got back from a farmer's market. Like a really good person. Just like supporting local farmers, you know, like I know you shop at Safeway, so.
Yeah. You're wearing a plaid shirt. What does that have to do with farmers market?
It's like farmers, plaid. There shouldn't be. If you don't get it, like you're not on my level. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You're not.
I'm so glad that you finally came to this farmer's market. All kinds of people have been walking around here, and I saw you with a plaid shirt. And this
I
person,
belong here. and
you're
that's
one of
why
us.
I'm all these people who are here, they don't even know what they're here for. You know?
They're asking me price. Somebody told me this costs less than Safeway.
Yeah.
It hurt my feelings. Thank you for
So,
coming.
$45 for some potatoes?
I'll make it 30 for you. Community
One of
discount.
us.
One of
Thank you.
us. Promise me you'll come again.
Paid $30?
For potatoes. To support local farmers.
Hey, listen. I don't like you as a roommate.
Oh, hey, you came back.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were gone for the whole weekend.
No, Janine's just coming back from the car right now. What's up,
So,
Todd? Why is
nothing's up. Nothing's weird.
smell?
Nothing happened in the living room.
smell?
You smell something?
I wasn't. Listen. If you think I was baking bread that looked like your guys' faces, I wasn't doing that.
Why is the oven set to 550 degrees?
Why is there a blown up photo of our faces taped to the refrigerator?
Because I was baking bread that made it look like your faces.
Oh my God! It's bread
And it looks
looks
like
like our faces!
Tom,
You can't be alone, can you?
we were gone for half a day.
Yeah. But I didn't know. I didn't know how long it was going to be. You didn't leave a note.
What a waste of bread.
A waste of bread. I was going to eat the bread. I was going to have you inside me.
That doesn't make it any better.
What do you mean? This is not comforting, Todd. We can't come. How do you expect us to feel?
Well, then
okay
call
when
me
we-
before you come home. I didn't want you to walk in on this. You think I want you to know that every time you're gone for a few hours, to be honest, I make bread that looks like you and they eat it most of the time. I'm a contractor. I write copy on, as an independent copywriter. I don't have a lot of stuff to do.
Again, it's a big waste of bread.
It's not that big of a waste. Like I'm not. Why are you worried about? Okay, I guess you're gonna worry about the
Did
waste.
you eat all the bread yourself?
That's kind of the point, Jake. It's kind of the point.
What's that in your pocket? Is this?
Grab it. What is it?
It's a little gummy bear in the shape of
our
our faces.
Okay,
What a waste
what
of
is
gummies!
What are you
That's
doing?
so
Is that
small.
dessert? Is that dessert?
Do you know how hard it is to make custom-made gummy bears?
How did you get a mold of our faces?
There's one guy in New Zealand who does it.
What?
The mold of the faces? Oh, that's why you were sleeping. That was easy. That was fun. But like, what the?
You don't want to buy that stuff on that side of the store.
What, these cruelty-free tomatoes?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we do want to buy them.
They're saying they're cruelty-free, but are they?
They're free-range, cruelty-free tomatoes, and we're gonna buy them.
They're not.
You got something better to offer?
Yeah. What?
You got something better?
Yeah, I got a story.
We have had the choice between a cruelty-free, free-grace tomato and a story.
Yeah, a real story, a real true crime story. I'm a journalist.
Let me just make sure I'm completely clear about this. We can choose to buy a cruelty-free tomato in the store, or we can sit down, put our feet up, and listen to you tell us a true crime story. Yes. Well, I think we both know what we're gonna do.
True crime story, come on.
Cool, hey, you guys are back. You brought the tomatoes. The stew's almost ready.
We didn't get the tomato.
What?
We had to make a deal.
This guy told us a true crime story. It was incredible!
Imagine seeing a podcast, but live.
In a grocery store!
We had no idea it was coming.
We were skeptical, but it changed us.
Do you know what tomato soup tastes like without tomatoes? Doesn't taste like anything.
Do you know what happened at 2:48 a.m. on Hawthorne Street in Long Beach in December of 1977? A crime! A true crime!
A guy named Trevor Skinner
Fell off of the top of a payphone. Was he pushed?
All right, hold on.
This is a good true crime story?
It was fantastic.
I'm not going to be able to sleep. And the answer is yes, he was pushed.
Still, that doesn't make it better. What? Listen, that story isn't gonna feed us. Right? I'm glad you were entertained for 1 minute in Whole Foods.
1 minute? We were there for 2 hours.
All right, guys. So we all agree we're not gonna talk about for Allison when she leaves.
No.
No. Fuck Allison.
She's been famously threatening to leave for a while. That's all she ever talks about.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, honestly.
She's been famously eating my salads. I put my name on every salad.
Yeah, in the company fridge.
Yeah.
You famously put your name on
I
your salad.
famously
Yeah,
put my name on it. I'm famous for that.
You know that jingle I wrote for the Diet Coke when we were doing the Diet Coke project?
Yes.
She took it. Diet Coke. Diet Coke! She stole that and said, I came up with it! I came up with it!
Right.
Yeah! What other bad shit did she do?
She famously cheats at the company pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we do swimming races, oh, and that too, yeah.
Swimming race and Super Bowl pool.
Yeah, she wrote her name, she switched the name out in the squares. So
really?
Yeah.
That thing.
And she took more squares than everyone else.
Yeah.
So we're not clapping it up for her.
Oh, hey, you guys are already here.
Hey,
I'm not leaving until 5. You guys can have to just stand in the hallway.
well,
really?
we work here, so.
Maybe you could just take off early today on your last day.
Are you?
Take a load off. It's your last day. Why
Yeah.
are you doing
Why don't you just turn in your badge and laptop now?
Is there? Oh, I see what's going on. There's a surprise. I'll come back for it. I'll come back for it.
I want my salad back.
Yeah.
Diet Coke. Diet Coke. I came up with that.
What?
The jingle, you heard me in the bathroom. I came up with it.
Derek came up with the jingle.
You came up with that jingle?
You heard me in the bathroom. The all gender.
Everybody, I could not have. I always poop with my headphones on.
Famously, she does.
Another reason to not like you.
You got Beats by Dre, I get it. Like, they're expensive.
Yeah.
I'm beautiful.
Don't you like
Right.
hearing it hit the water though? Like.
All right, Cadillac employees, get in here. It's time to hand out our annual bonuses based on performance. This year the bonuses don't consist of cash, it consists of bread and lettuce. Literally. All right, Jerry, you sold 250 Cadillacs. This spring, here's a loaf of Nature's Own whole wheat bread.
Hey, you guys seem super cool about this.
All right, Mark, you sold 100 Cadillacs, 2 were returned, so it rounds down to 98. Here's some lettuce. Again, that's all these bonuses are, bread and lettuce.
Hey,
Jim.
Oh, hey, Mr. Daniels, what are we supposed to do with this?
Oh, with the lettuce, you can make it into a salad if you want. Others.
No, I mean,
I'm gonna plant mine.
Yeah.
is this...
I'm gonna grow bread trees.
Okay,
Do
no.
you have a problem with the bonus that you're giving?
No, I'm just concerned that, is this an indication that the money that I'm getting is gonna become food of some sort?
What
Like
is
my
she
regular
saying?
salary?
Is this because you're white? You just don't
No,
get it?
no. I'll take the lettuce. It's great. Like, look.
Oh! Big spender over here!
You might want to wash that off first, huh? Wash it.
Eat your whole paycheck, right?
Alright, I'm tired of your coworkers who white shame you every day. You gotta grow a ball or two, honey. A little bit of balls there.
It doesn't make sense though how they do it. I mean, there's obvious ways to white shame me, but is eating lettuce? like I know I'm not in touch with my culture, and it's kind of ambiguous as to what that is. but like,
What did you eat lettuce?
well, I
In
thought
front
that's
of
what
everyone?
Yeah, wait, do you?
I just turn my back and I eat it softly so that they cannot see me. When somebody asks me what are you doing, I just say I grind my teeth because I'm stressed. And then they just say, are you stressed by the world because you're white? But I fight back.
Honey, you secretly eat lettuce? Why? It's just... I ate the lettuce because they were watching. They're eating lettuce secretly in the corner?
Yeah, I'm afraid of making cultural mistakes too, you know. I know I give you, ask you, grow balls.
Okay, time for the lettuce talent show. Let's see what everyone did with their lettuce. Jim, what did you do with yours?
Like, I didn't know if it was a talent that I had to be involved in. So I just painted it with a
I made a BDSM themed nativity scene out of it. It's pretty cool. I'm actually going to submit it to a national contest when I leave this place.
Is the lettuce Jesus in the middle there?
Yeah, with a choker around it.
What does that symbolize?
He was just happy to get off the cross for a little bit.
Get off. Get off.
Get off, right, exactly.
Everybody break for lunch!
I did a one-man play with this head of lettuce.
What's the play?
It's about me and my dad. And the lettuce plays my dad. Talks about as much as my dad does in real life.
Is it still cool if we break for lunch before he starts that?
Well, now I want to hear what everybody else did.
Okay.
Nick?
Oh my god.
I just kind of let it sit there for a little bit. And then it started to turn green. Like greener, like a darker green. It's already green, man.
Yeah, it's
It's completely inappropriate.
So, you're a lawyer.
I am.
That's so interesting.
I do construction law.
Construction law? That is so interesting.
Construction law, yeah. It's like if a construction site is sued, I defend construction law.
So you don't defend the construction company, you just defend the workers.
Just the workers.
Just the workers, but even if they're not the ones getting sued? That's so cool.
Yeah, just the workers, yeah. And let's see what else. I drive a Jeep and I like to
I
hike.
saw it on your profile. I love to hike.
You love to hike? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I usually like to take my dog up on the trail with me, but my dog was kidnapped.
guys, sorry to interrupt. You guys ready? You guys ready for me yet? You guys ready to order?
Yeah, I'll just have I'll have the cruelty-free tomato salad
Oh,
and the vegan lettuce.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. And you, sir, this is a nice shirt. It's a nice shirt.
Thank you. You know, you could talk to me and not the shirt. It's Abercrombie and Fitch.
Is it nice and airy during the? It's hot out there.
You know, would you like to know anything about me? I do construction law. And I'm on a date.
All right, so you want the cruelty-free tomato soup, salad, sorry, and then the vegan lettuce. And can I have that shirt? Give me your shirt.
You want my shirt?
Give me your shirt.
You can't just take my shirt. I'm on a date.
Hey, let me get that shirt. I'm not leaving here without that shirt.
Hey,
What are you
hey,
gonna do?
I've been staying here because I hoped that you would have changed by now.
He's about to have to change.
I have changed. Here, take it. I have changed. And I would like Fluffer back.
That's not.
No!
That wasn't. I just wanted to see if you changed. I wasn't gonna give him back.
But I have changed. I've changed. This man kidnapped my
I
dog.
don't know what's going on.
We're on a date, and this is